let's get this basic coding lab, part 1 anyways. Let's get that figured out. So the idea is to get us to some coding, to learn how to have it run our robot. The description says that you, the student, will be able to demonstrate the start motor command, the wait command, and the stop motor command. Let's give it a try. I'm using the start menu to do a search for the program, and it's called VEX, V-E-X, VEX Robotics. The graphical run is the wrong program. Pick the Robot C version. Robot C, let it launch. I turned my welcome screen off so it wouldn't keep going to that do you want to upgrade option. So I turned that option off. If you need help, please ask. Alright, I'm going to get going new. Here's my blank screen. Alright, every time you get into Robot C, you have to do 2 things. Every time. Why? Because at night when the computer shut down, they boot up in the morning back to the factory settings. That we can't fix. And it's a good thing it does that, so the computer's clean and ready to go for you. But the bad part is all your settings are set up and been restored. So 2 things. Under Robot, make sure under the platform type you have VEX 2.0 Cortex and Natural Language Project Lead the Way. This platform type, it kind of sets up the all the defaults, all the codes, all the kind of how it runs according to the Cortex we have and the program we're using. These 2 must be checked. Okay, mine are there. Secondly, under Robot, again, pick the one called Communication Mode. Make sure it says USB only. This is how we're going to have our code communicate to our Cortex or to a robot is about the USB cord. So 2 things. One is platform type, and one is communication mode. Alright, I'm going to take this natural language category of codes, and I'm going to push the little plus button to expand it. You can see more. Here's all the codes we're going to use for this first few robots. Let's go back to our directions. So I scroll to page number 2. I built my base plate. I have my Cortex bolted down, the motor fastened on. I have a 2-pin motor. So mine plugs into port 1 or port 10. 2-pin motors, port 1, port 10. 3-pin motors, port 2 through 9. You pick. Here's the directions. I need to program the coding for this lab so the motor will start and run at a speed of, I think we picked 47 or 48 for 5 seconds. After the time has elapsed, the motor will stop. The program is to end. So if we kind of chunk this down into small components, I have a start command. It's going to run for this long, 5 seconds, and I have a stop command. So we got a start, a wait, and a stop. Start, wait, stop. Because look here. Start, wait, stop. There's my code. Let's code it. Let's go back to my program. Alright, over here in this little build section, this line number 2, where it says task main, this is like the beginning of our code. This task main means, hey computer, here comes a program. It's going to be written underneath me. This was like a book. This is like the cover of the book, title of the book. And then this little brace right here is kind of like page number 1 of the book. This page is the end of the book. So do all my writing in between the first page and the last page. These braces here were given to us by the program itself. Those we need to leave alone, work around them. The task main is the cover. Here's page 1. Here's the end of the book. I program in between these zones. Can I get some more room? Sure. If I hit the enter button, I can make more, and back them off, have them go away. Alright, I need a start, a wait, and a stop. So under my robot movement, I have a start motor command, and a stop motor command. I need both those. So I'm going to click and drag a start motor command and park it on line number 4. I need a wait command, so expand that. I want to pick the wait time, park it on line number 5. And then a stop motor command, park it on line number 6. Make a mistake, you bring the wrong code. How do you get rid of that? Just go to Edit, Undo, and it goes away. Bring that back. Okay, so my coding is written. I now have to kind of fine tune it by giving what motor I want to start and how fast, how much time I want it to drive for or move for, and what motor to stop. So my coding is written. Now for the fine tuning. With that, I have to go up to this tab called Motor and Sensor Setup. Open that tab up. Here I have 4 tabs: a Standard Modes tab, a Motors tab, Analog Device tab, and a Digital Device tab. I want to use the one called Motors. Because I have a 2-pin motor, I plug my motor into port number 1. So every port you plugged your motor into, that's the port you're going to program or code. It says name. I need to give the motor a name. For this example, I'm just going to call my motor Steve. And the type of the motor, this doesn't matter what kind of motor you have, 2-pin motor, 3-pin motor, they're all the same type. They're going to be the VEX 393 motor. So this is the wrong motor, the 269 motor. We have one here called a 393. The high-speed ones are turbo kits. We don't have those. So it's the VEX 393 motor. I'm going to leave these next 3 columns alone. As long as it says the motor name, motor type, I can apply that to my programming and hit OK. See here? It gave me 2 more lines of code. So it programmed, it configured a motor in port 1, and it's called Steve, and it is a VEX 393 motor. Perfect. Alright, so start motor. My motor is not called motor port. I see this comma here. This leave alone. That separates the motor's name from the motor speed. This little semicolon back here, also leave alone. That's kind of like in a sentence, it's like the period at the end of a sentence. That tells the code that here's 1 line of code. Read the next line. A line of code. Here it is again. That's the end of my code line. Here's my next line of code, and there it is again. Okay, so these, the code word itself brings with it. It needs it, so leave those alone. My motor is called Steve. Again, spelling counts. If I don't spell my motor the exact same way it's spelled, it won't work. And I want a speed of not the word speed, maybe like 47. How fast can the motor go? Well, in your vocab section, you've read that, and you know the answer. Wait time. I need to have my motor run for 5 seconds. And then stop the motor. My motor is now called Steve. So I'll type in Steve. And the program is done. I'm going to go check for any errors or bugs. This configure program button does that. I'll click it. It reads through all my codes. It says, wait a minute, you haven't saved it yet. So I'm going to save mine as Basic Coding Lab Part 1. And I must go to my account. So you have to go to under your account name and put it in maybe your documents folder. Okay, so you put yours in yours. I'll leave mine in my documents folder. And I'll save it. It did all my program checking, and it says it's been compiled on December 13th. No errors. So what comes next? Now I have to take that orange USB cable, plug it into my computer on the front somewhere, and plug it into the Cortex. When they're plugged in, I push the download the robot button, and it's going to hopefully send this code to my robot. Alright, So download a robot, does that part of it. So there's the coding lab part 1. Good luck with your programming.